Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this very important issue, Mr. Speaker. First, I want to put it on record that officially I am the Jubilee Parliamentary Group Secretary, and that is the position that I've been holding since 2020. And therefore, I am the only one in Parliament who has the right to speak on issues pertaining to parliamentary group, both in the Senate and the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, secondly, this purported Azimio coalition agreement, even as an official, as a NEC member, I am yet to see. And I'm sure during the ruling that you made on 6 October 2022, you also alluded to the same, that this is a non-existent document. And therefore, we as Jubilee, Mr. Speaker, we wrote to you on a number of occasions, and the person who wrote to you is none other than the person who was then the Secretary General, Honorable Kioni. He wrote to you on the leadership of the houses. He wrote to you on the formation on Commission on Revenue Allocation. He wrote to you on IALA. He wrote to you on Pan-Africa, literally to demonstrate that Jubilee as a party is a distinct party, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we're in this era. Between now and the general election, this party, great former party, has been conned. We lost PSC, and the shocking thing, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Waluke was in jail. They nominated him, took the nomination letter to jail, and 1 day later, they appointed another person as his replacement. This is the most inhuman thing that I have ever seen, Mr. Speaker, with this group, and of course, it's a trademark, Mr. Speaker. Equally, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Fatuma Dulo lost her position as a minority whip. The Honorable Sabina is here. The Honorable Margaret Kamar has lost her membership of the Pan-African Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, taking all these into account, Mr. Speaker, it has dawned on us, being the second largest minority party, Mr. Speaker, and taking into account that some of us are not cows. We cannot blindly follow the whims of individuals who don't reason, Mr. Speaker. We have decided, and I want to put it on record that I'm not a cow, and that's why I've been here, I've been elected many times, Mr. Speaker, because I reason, I appreciate, and make decisions that is consistent with what I think is correct, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you have also alluded to the provisions of the Fair Administrative Action, Mr. Speaker. If you look at this, all the Jubilee members have been removed from the WhatsApp group of the Azimio coalition, Mr. Speaker. That is the first demonstration that we are in the wrong coalition, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, technically speaking, Jubilee is part of Azimio as of now. But, Mr. Speaker, I need your protection from this particular member. I don't want to say he's my good friend, but you know, certainly I'm qualified to say a lot of things about you, and you wouldn't like this house. Mr. Speaker, taking into account the provision of the Fair Administrative Act, Mr. Speaker, this letter, purported letter from my good friend, the Honorable Wandayi, and I want to say this for the good of Honorable Wandayi, you have demonstrated enough that you are up to the job of being the minority leader to the honors of Azimio. That we appreciate. But equally, we will not allow you to step on our rights. This particular letter, Mr. Speaker, is malicious, Mr. Speaker. This particular letter is capricious. It's unconstitutional. It's inconsistent with the provisions of every...